in every single game, moving his people in and out, changing all of their abilities. Because if he doesn't, his Plague Doctor is going to get wiped out with a finale. His Musketeer is going to get wiped out with a finale. And even if not them, they are reasonably weak characters on their own, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Much movement here from Settra, though. We've seen the double bounty hunter teams not banned out, though, which, quite frankly, if they pick into the Plague Doctor Musketeer teams, J-Man's going to have to 3-0 Settra on the reverse sweep, and I do not think these teams have the capability of doing that.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be so scary. Guys, we are going to the first game of the grand finals as we speak. 1-3-5 J-Man on the left and Settra on the right, sporting this Darkest 2 banner there. It's very exciting to see what exactly those guys do. They went a very long way to get here through 3 different brackets, 3 best of 3s, and this all comes down to this series right now. Settra versus 1-3-5 J-Man. J-Man actually does bring a stress come to the first fight, and I feel this is trouble, man, because this is a
frankly, Settra right now has no opportunities to riposte, and even a single riposte is an effective counter to this Antiquarian Houndmaster team. This Abomination starting second right now. He's more than able to throw down Beast Bar, riposte. If he wants to transform, he can try and single target down that Jester to try and kill him. He probably, what has he got? He's got Bellow, Guard, Riposte, and Bolster here. So no command available to him. Can't buff up his accuracy to effectively hit that Jester 100% of the time. But I'm not entirely sure that'll matter too much, really.
Yeah, but those guys knew all the ins and outs of this matchup. So, for instance, J-Man just instantaneously removes the stun, which allows you to actually just kind of keep the aim alive. That's very solid play. But also Settra pulling forward this Houndmaster, also forcing the Abon to transform next turn and just move forward with the slam. Because if he doesn't do this, he's just gonna get pulled to 4th, and the only way of moving out is going to be this fadeaway. So, also, Ballad drops right now, it kind of slows the pace of the game for Settra a little bit, just kind of shifts the momentum.
Slows the pace of the game, Mike, but I really like seeing exactly like these amount of...
Oh, that was crazy dodge, guys. So a sniper just comes through. Houndmaster, the doggo, as J-Man calls him, is still somewhat safe. You have to transform this A-bomb right now. If you don't do this, it's really trouble for you. Because
the third, if you choose to Beast Bar, they pull in the Antiquarian, although you can counter that with the fade backwards.
There's still a move lost.
J-Man is putting quite a lot into this stress right now. For turn 2, it's not bad across the board to see, quite frankly, but also for Settra here, that Houndmaster is as good as dead, right?
Yeah. So Settra is just gonna take the lead in this series. I feel like this comp I feel like the interaction of those compositions just doesn't kind of play in J-Man's hands here. Obviously, Settra is taking a big chunk of his HP here. I'm kind of surprised, however, that he didn't go for the hook on this Antiquarian from the get-go. Maybe just wanted to keep the Houndmaster at the front. Also, another kind of a big question mark for me is why he didn't stun this Houndmaster before he was able to take the turn and heal. So quite a few things actually just kind of not going the right way here for both players, I believe. Now we have this Abomination finally transforming.
Not going the right way for J-Man right now. We are starting to... That resist to get
That's
another...
fortunate.
35% here, quite frankly, that you don't actually want to hit him out, do you? Because it'll push the Jester into
the finale range. Yeah, but still kind of this does make it a dice roll for you to finish off the Houndmaster. It's just a clean 100% kill here. So it feels very good for Settra. Like, if you are Settra right now, you're just kind of... I feel like you're just really... absolutely rejoicing over the current situation. He has a complete control over this game. He has a stun now. He kills the A-bomb probably next turn, very likely to be the case. And from there is just very clean victory, I feel, because this Houndmaster didn't do enough damage. This Abomination transformed once so far. There is no real stress across the board. And if you are down to 2 characters against what Settra has, maybe the finale will still kind of be on the cards as well. You have to kind of consider that.
If you're the J-Man right now, you need to be kind of on a wing and a prayer, I suppose, throwing in Festering Vapors, trying to knock someone down into Death's Door range with your Rage, throwing down Bellows, hoping that we don't get effectively countered by the Illuminating Flare. maybe you don't have the riposte, so basically you're just a bellow bot, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's not even bolstered. That dodge might have been effective, obviously not anymore. You don't want to see him play that right now, but I think just bellow, festering vapors, just kind of play, you know?
Yeah, but
maybe you can be aggressive with the abomination. You can get someone down, because look at these DOTs, Mike. They're all about half health, aren't they?
Yeah, but like still, I feel like this A-bomb is just gonna get bolted to the door and slaughtered now, and you know the finale is still available, so it just will follow in suit, and it just doesn't feel like Jamin has any response to that, right? I don't think he has Rampart on the MAA. It just I kind of find no ban, like the lack of the ban on this, or people failing to ban this Halo comp. I think this is just a very big mistake, because I have no idea. I have not seen a counter to this today. There are counters to the comp. I just have not seen that.
Frankly, it is so brutal seeing someone unban the Halo comp, but not kind of
ready to take it, right?
Exactly. I mean, Cherry beat the Halo comp twice in a row against Mangle.
Yeah.
That was, she had a team set up to perfectly counter it. And
there is nothing
exactly not able to do it. Take the Rampart, knock back the Jester, play more aggressively, maybe take some kind of offensive melee trinkets on the Abomination here, Mike. That beast is late, but I mean...
No, it's just over, right? The A-bomb is dead. Like, we saw, I think, one of the players lose today with that Halo comp, but this is because, like, I think Jamin just destroyed this with the Mark composition, right? So this was the only time when it actually lost, and it was against even more aggressive composition as well. So maybe if you're Jamin, you just kind of anticipate, you know, going against it, you just bring out the boys first. And just demolish it with this you know, high damage mark composition. Maybe this would have kind of been able to win. By the way, Jamin still has to win.
If you are losing your first game to the Halo comp, you do have to be somewhat happy, I suppose.
Yeah, it's out. It's like you lose to this, you no longer have to worry about the existence of this thing altogether. So that's kind of the fortunate bit. However, there is like
discuss how this Halo comp is kind of the ladder comp. So to be taken out right now, it's got a very good kind of advantage across the field, but it's not over yet for J-Man. It's really not over yet.
Oh.
If he blow some act outs here, he'll get it.
Yeah,
reasonably unmolested in rank 4.
You should the Antiquarian right now, and you just finale her, and she's dead. I feel like that's how it's gonna go. You just bolt her to the door again, and she's just gonna... Okay, now actually he decides to go the other way around, so he just goes for the X-Stab. Just make sure to maximize the damage output of the Arbalest here. So she has like there's both offensive items, which will probably facilitate a very large chunk of damage just dropping on this Antiquarian, followed by the finale. And no, never mind. Fuck me, that was 9 damage. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was so wrong. That is a devil. This might still turn on its head. Actually, you may actually have been right there, because I didn't expect this to be 9 damage. Oh, this is gonna be like a clean finale. It obviously wasn't. So it's actually my miscalculation. I feel like this Arbalest is just so debuffed. I didn't realize how hard debuffed she was, but she must be super hard debuffed now. So obviously, I feel like
seen her cast an illuminating flare yet, Mike? That's what we need to think about.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe wanted to see at least 2 of those by now, right?
Yeah, those bellows must have been like stacking up super hard. This is just minus 20% though. This is not like really big or anything. So you probably want to get that, like you really need to get this Antiquarian out of the picture right now. You just probably shoot her dead, and yeah, you just kind of move on from there. What the freaky hell is this 7 damage?
Look at these debuffs, man. Well, you want to do
this is minus 20% though.
I mean, still, she's unmarked. That's kind of the low range, you know? You hit 7 to like 13, right?
Abusive also Death's Door means that he's gonna deal way less damage than he would have normally done. He finales this nonetheless. This is a crit kill, clean. Actually, this should be it, right? Because you have to feel like the Arbalest, Crusader, Jester deal with the MAA fairly well. This is a heal now. Like he has to heal that. Okay, there's also a that's just over.
Absolutely cements the game. Right?
Yeah. Well, this is a very dominant performance by Settra, just kind of slightly stunted by the low damage output of this Arbalest, surprisingly low damage output of the Arbalest. He actually does something very strange here. I guess he kind of realized, the Jester is okay in the back, like he's not gonna take any special sort of punishment, so he would probably just prefer to kind of keep the guy healthy there. Unhealthy, but still alive.
If the Jester can't harvest it. This Marathon, 30% protection, The zealous accusation won't hit particularly hard, and this stunning blow hitting for 5. It'll take quite a few turns to wiggle him down, especially the sniper shot as well.
And there's a lot of DOT across the board, so this still might not be a solved game indeed. Though I would say like Settra does hold a very significant advantage here. The Bola are questionable, I would say. He would have probably wanted to heal this just at some point.
Right now is to push him into harvest range too.
Okay, that's very intelligent. I didn't notice this. That's a very smart play though. Okay, so
I mean, it's also a little bit reliant on the move RNG, but quite frankly,
yeah,
you know,
probably the best move in the end. Yeah,
the accidents, and this happy accident has led to a harvest here, likely to hit the food. 4 damage there.
That was brilliant, actually. That was very smart play. You have to commend Settra for this. Like, he actually made he thought of this, right? He figured, okay, I'm just gonna do this because this is probably the best move I have available to myself. And he just pulled it off. He gets the bleed on this MAA that's probably sorted now. This game is gonna be solved very soon. Because this Jester doesn't die, and this means that he probably... Also, this is bonus accuracy, and crit doesn't really help the Arbalest all that much, but you know, the Arbalest is actually gonna be saved there. The Crusader also crucially does dodge that riposte, which is again like a lot of added value here, and that's just gonna be a very, 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 very dead MAA very soon. Like, this is a Jester with the finisher. You just have to feel this is it. Unless he does something really ridiculous.
This is 3 ways but over, correct, Mike?
Yeah.
This man-at-arms here is an old man on a prayer, fighting against mortality itself, and quite frankly, old men have a much lower chance of young, powerful men like me and you might have taken this one home.
Yeah.
I think the man-at-arms was about to come, if only to old age, but quite frankly, a punch in the face by Crusader.
Yeah, Mount Overrest, you could say. This is it. Settra takes game 1 in a very decisive fashion, obviously like a little bit of a stutter in the end of the fight, but overall very solid, dominant performance. You would have expected nothing else from the Halo comp going against us.
A-Man is one of these guys that does like to take some time in between games, altering his playstyle, and obviously in this first game you're against so many comps, you can't really get an idea of which one to actively play against. Obviously, it might have been an idea to put something in there to counter Jester, but he didn't quite do that. So really coming into this next game, he's given every advantage that could be possible of an elite gamer. So I think really he's going to take this and he's going to maybe bring it home in this one. If he doesn't bring it home in this one, Mike, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he does have to take this.
Able to counter, you know what I mean, any of his really intensely.
Yeah, because you don't want to be forced to reverse sweep. In Darkest Dungeon especially, where, you know, RNG is a factor, reverse sweeping just is very painful because you just have to kind of account for every single move, every single failure that might happen. Because if you're like in a even situation, if you are 1-1, you can take those risks. If you're like 1-0 even still, like if you're a single loss behind still, this is okay for you to take some risks. Maybe gamble a little bit just because you can just kind of claw your way back. And then if you go into 0-2, you are really with your back against the wall, and this means that you have to make every single decision you make count, and this might kind of make you risk averse, which is not always a very good thing in the Butcher Circus, guys. So yeah, that's how it is. I'm gonna message the guys telling that I'm ready again. And we can begin our series. I guess both of them are adjusting their compositions as we speak. And I'm very curious, actually, to see what Settra brings to the table now, and also what Jamin does, because both those are really going to be very exciting matches. Like, I really want to see what those players are actually going to bring to the table coming into the second part of the series here. Like, I'd really love to see PD win in the finals. That would be so exciting to see that, man.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, Settra versus Jamin, 2 absolute veterans of your community right now. To see them both against each other is such a fantastic sight, man. Looking especially into this game right now, where we believe the person who has just lost the game has a slight advantage in the next game. If he doesn't win this, he might not take home. If he does, we are looking for a fantastic game 5.
Yeah, absolutely. So, feels like Settra does have an advantage coming into the next fight, because he does have a very similar Halo composition available, so you know, the downfall comp. You might want to leave it for the last though, because it is a composition that you really kind of can win any matchup with, I think, if you play it correctly. So you probably want to kind of test the waters now, see what Jamin does. So I would just go for the burn them out first, like, you know, take the stress comp, kind of also a comp that kind of wins a lot of those matchups except for the Mark one, and then maybe just pivot into the downfall at the end, where you just kind of can confidently clutch at least a single win with it. So again, like, this is a little strategy that comes down because you are limited in terms of the composition numbers here, if you are those guys, because you have to win with every single unbanned composition to persevere, which obviously is going to be quite a big deal. You have to be like really good at Butcher Circus, guys, to be able to win consistently. Just kind of have this idea of how to play 3 or 4 different compositions. This just kind of requires a lot of mastery in the circus altogether. So guys, we're just kind of waiting for the players to get ready. They need to make their adjustments between the series. Obviously, I feel especially Settra here is trying to strategize. He probably might not be sure as to what exactly he wants to bring to the second game of the series. And this being said, we'll just see what exactly he does. I feel like the more intelligent choice perhaps would be just going for the stress comp, just trying to get a W with it first, and then just kind of clashing with finally getting the victory or in the tournament, perhaps using this flagellant BH Jester Arbalest composition.
Mike, you know what? I want to take over for a second and put myself in the position of one of these players right now. Obviously, second place in the previous tournament against Cherry, my apprentice, some would say. Say hello.
Hello.
There we go, exactly.
Hey,
hello.
Cherry.
So, quite frankly, for these people playing right now, I want to see something just new, just absolutely new. No one expected to face this kind of heavy stress control team. What's the Abomination doing? Bam, 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 into the face constantly. Take that person out, leverage that advantage to control win into turn 8 or into turn 10. Really, we need these players right now. Settra has been around for long enough to know how to play these guys inside out. We want to see some incredible new comps formed on the spot. And here we go, Mike. We're about to see it. Hopefully, we're about to see it, Mike.
Yeah, hopefully don't hate it, right? Hopefully don't hate it. Also, you have seen a lot of those interesting changes in your games as well, especially because I saw you actually make those alterations to the, I feel, antiquarian trinkets, or like one of your characters was actually able to pierce invisibility, which was something that the Edelbar's composition kind of hinged upon, so
yeah,
that was very smart play.
But that was the area on the Arbalest, pacing through the antiquarians, take cover, resist, the Halo comp, charge in. But quite frankly, right now, J-Man here with this unfortunate, I think, heavy AoE stress team. AoE DOT stress. Settra, he has 2 ripostes available to him, but to activate the riposte on his Abomination, he will need to move backwards, obviously just transform right now, get that stress out, slamming, and he
gets it. Yeah, that's his big mistake.
It's so difficult, it's so dangerous to put an Abomination in turn 2, Mike.
I mean, that's another misplay though. He could have just taken cover.
Faded, exactly, take cover.
Yeah, and that means that the A-bomb is okay.
Even then, he could have transformed and slammed back, right?
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate now for J-Man, because he is going to be stuck here. Also, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't go for a stun on the Antiquarian, because this just kind of keeps the A-bomb stuck forever. Obviously, you can just kind of, you can transform and move forward. This doesn't do the damage, but it still does the stress bit of the transformation, which is still okay. But obviously, like, your preferred state of this game is when you can transform, maybe even rage on the Houndmaster. That's what I kind of saw you do a lot, like where you just kind of get the Able to the front, where he's mostly safe unless he goes against the Leper, and then you just kind of go for this very high damaging ability and high crit chance ability in the form of rage, where you just can eventually take everybody down, like almost all the characters to go to 0.
In the world you're describing, J-Man is kind of facing the brunt of both. Up against heavy Hounds, Harry. Pretty heavy control again from this Vessel. The only difference here being the Vessel versus Antiquarian. The Vessel able to stun the Antiquarian, especially in position 2. That Beast Bar, though, I absolutely adore. Even though it only affects the Houndmaster, rather, the Hound's Harry there, still remarkably effective because it applies stress to both and does a little bit of blight. That really is all you need to do until you transform back, going for another stun, another charge forward rather. But again, this is one of these positioning things. Settra's Abomination in rank 1. If J-Man pushes him forward, he'll be in rank 3, able to push back in, push J-Man's Abomination back into rank 4.
Yeah. This kind of spells trouble then for J-Man indeed. Like, the thing is, like, you really don't usually want to switch out of the second transformation at all, because this kind of takes away all your damage potential, unless you just want to keep using the Bylot. If you go against another Able, you probably just want to kind of get to rank 1 first, before you kind of flip the switch back to the human form. So Settra here probably has a slight lead in terms of stress as well, because he has been able to actually deliver quite a bit of that in the previous turn when, you know, J-Man was basically just scrambling for position. And in this case here...
do you know what I would like to see from J-Man's Abomination here? Knowing that when you become afflicted, you transform from beast mode into human form, I would like to see him save that. I like to see him use his first and save his second. Just beast bile all the time into the second. And transform into the second after you've been afflicted. That way, maybe you are taking it a little bit slow, but it does allow you to be constantly aggressive rather than being forced into that kind of only beast bile, or if you're in rank 1, even only chained stunning, which really isn't that effective against a team like this.
Yeah, we actually see this repose being used quite early, by the way, by J-Man. This actually means that he gets a decent tempo advantage here, because those repose are doing a lot of damage. They also put a lot of pressure on Settra, because he can no longer be just kind of blindly using those Hound Harries. This Houndmaster is actually, I think that he might just take 5 blind damage this turn, plus a lot of bleed as well, which is obviously a very, very big deal for J-Man, who might just want to kind of win this game.
Stacking up as well. Eventually, these Hounds Harry are not even going to proc Death's Door, are they?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Giving 0 damage.
Yeah, and I feel like Settra's comp is way slower than J-Man's, right? Because the Vestal does control, but if the Vestal can't actually reach the Houndmaster at all, it's actually very good for J-Man, because this Houndmaster is the core damage dealer here, so he's gonna be just very comfortable in the back row, just sitting there dropping those Hound Harries one after the other, and you know the DOTs that J-Man's Antiquarian applies are just huge.
Right now, by turn 6, when all of these DOTs, these Bleeds and Blights, have you just said, have been actually came to fruition, we're going to see Settra here basically at 0 health.
Yeah.
J-Man right now, he's got, maybe the Abomination is going to be quite low. All it takes is a couple rejuvenating Vapors, maybe a take cover into rejuvenating here. Will give him some defensiveness, able to actually, as we've seen, I believe, Sticky Blood before, just leverage these over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But really, he doesn't have the stress advantage. He just want to stack these out right now. Thank God they all hit for him. Look at that. We're going to be seeing 3 afflictions before this turn ends, I believe.
Yeah, that's very likely to happen. So, yeah, it feels like actually 135 J-Man kind of, he uses this very straightforward stress comp against a fairly elaborate and composition by Settra here, and I feel like J-Man does have an advantage in this, right? Because his Houndmaster is just doing so much more damage, and also this Antiquarian puts a lot of pressure across the board on Settra. Like she just does those characters can be just able to damage the entire lineup.
If I were to say to you 3 turns ago, on turn when we had Settra throw down a riposte here, counteract the Beast Bar from J-Man, J-Man's Antiquarian, Abomination and Houndmaster would all be unable to effectively, really, do AoE attacks. They're all being on no health right now. So quite frankly, from Settra, I'm seeing someone not play how they should. I'm going to say this is quite a bold statement, but not how they should. Let's be honest. He's pushed this Abomination to a situation where he can Beast Bar over and over and over again. He sent me a riposte. That riposte alone should be a reminder to you, a mental reminder to say, listen, I can riposte as well. This Antiquarian has been dumping on me with a stinky, stinky brat power. These festering Vapors and these Hounds Harrys from the Houndmaster have been losing you the game. Throw down a riposte and at least attack back while you're taking these. It's infuriating to see, Mike.
Yeah, it is still a very even game nonetheless, right? You can see this by... I'm kind of surprised actually you don't see the transformation on the A-bomb of J-Man, but he actually gets the A-bomb of Settra here. By surprise, removes this transformation, dazes him as well by the same token, and this means that this A-bomb is not going to be able to push J-Man's A-bomb back. So that's kind of very important actually for J-Man to keep this as an option, right? You just kind of have this character there in the middle. He probably wants to transform now and just do some stress damage over time, because he's slowly falling behind in terms of stress somehow, which is very baffling to me, but he kind of is.
Behind the curve on this stress damage. Again, choosing to play this defensive turn rather than festering vapors, you know, in the given circumstances, it is probably the correct play. But obviously, if Settra had thrown down a riposte there, you know, these festering vapors and fine wouldn't have been able to go through, getting a fearful hit on the Vestal. We're starting to see inflations across the board here now, so maybe James isn't as far behind as we thought he was.
No.
Quite frankly, if you're afflicted, you're afflicted, you know?
Yes, the crit as well, that's very big.
That's what's important.
Yeah, every single crit actually matters so much in stress versus stress, because this is basically a battle of inches, and you want to eke out every single possible little bit. So this is very big for both players here. And, you know, J-Man here, actually, I don't like his position anymore, because he has taken a lot of that stress damage over the course of the past few turns, and actually, like, he hasn't done enough, and Settra is slowly stabilizing this fight. Obviously,
stabilization is probably the name of the game for both characters right now. With Settra here, the Houndmaster at Death's Door. Look at that triple
dodge, though. Yeah, you hate to see it.
Triple dodge is basically a pass for the opponent.
Yeah.
Going to... That is an unfortunate outcome. Going to Hound's Harry again. Not hitting. You see a 0 hit there again. Paying creep the fact that if Bellows go through, these Houndmasters will not actually be able to proc Death's Door. Not be able to proc the death blow chance, something that often people rely on quite heavily right now. Unable to cleanse from either side. What is this going to be? Manacles.
That's okay. That's an okay act out. I would just take it. Oh, it's resisted though, because obviously this Aben was stunned before, so kind of likely to happen.
Death's Door, but it forces a heal unless you want to kind of risk that death blow.
Yeah, he goes for transformation. I think I would have just done the same, simply because. First of all, you kind of can put pressure on someone here, maybe prevent the stun from coming through, and second of all, you probably are just going to lose this character anyway. You just kind of need to get this second transformation out before you lose the characters. He just goes for this.
I disagree with that, Rick, and I'll tell you why. Both of those blights and bleeds will take them down to reasonably close to death's already. If you rage to the Vestal, that might push her down to death's door as well. And that way, you've got 4 people on death's door. One festering Vapors can take all 4 out eventually. So quite frankly, I believe that was
whoa,
heavy dodge there.
That's crazy. That's also the second time in a row where that happens, right? It's kind of insane, to be honest. So Jamin here doing probably better than he should be because of those Hound Harrys kind of not hitting the mark for Settra, despite, you know, the very, very slow trinket choices he has been making over the course of this fight. So right now, I feel like this game has still been favoring Settra a bit more, but because of those dodges, actually this is kind of going to be on knife's edge in the end. He's like, you know, Settra is gonna get the stun again, probably just kind of get some control in the game if the stun comes through here. It is actually resisted. It will kind of be 0 HP across the board for Settra actually.
I'm festering here. I mean, you kind of have to take it, even though it's going to hit 0. If you get some bleeds and blights across, it might actually counteract the amount of AoE healing you can do from that Vestal there.
Oh, those act outs as well. Look at this. Those chain stress. Those are kind of a very unfortunate stress of chain attacks. So chain of stress attacks, that is, where a lot of stress kind of came down as a result of the afflictions of the characters.
Stresses at a death's door.
Yeah, across the board. Everybody's at death's door now.
In there. Settra right now is, quite frankly, 1 act out away from having a chain reaction.
Yeah, it's gone. I think he's gone. He's gone in this game. That's chain reaction we were talking about. Like, this is maybe not an entire chain reaction per se.
Just the abomination out of the front here. But
still,
boom.
Okay, that's over. That's just over. Still, like, there is a Houndmaster on Jamin's side that is available. Right? You can just Hounds Harry through and just probably kill and finish the job, right? You can also just rage the Vestal, I think. That's probably the optimal play, where you can just kind of drop the rage here. Okay, this is an actor, obviously.
I'll tell you what Jamin's playing defensively right now. Settra, rather. All he can do is either take the Vestal. If he takes the Vestal, he dies. DOT's got him down, health got him down. Pass, brutal. He's done. Settra's done here. That pass has sealed the game.
Yeah, it's just over.
Chain reaction of a couple of course. He's done now.
Okay, the Vestal's actually gonna survive somehow. So
it's been so back and forth. A couple of times ago, I would have said to you, listen, J-Man is going to get a 2-0 deficit coming into these games, but quite frankly, Settra, I mean, not quite managed it, really. I don't think there's anything he can do here to really take control of this game outside of remarkable kind of act-outs.
Yeah, I mean, this MAA might just be dead though. Like, if you activate the MAA, I think he just dies from stress and bleed, right? This is another thing. So this A-bomb here, if he oh god, he just, oh, whoa. Okay, he's very lucky.
That might be enough.
No, it's very lucky actually for Jamin not losing this MAA, because he was gonna die together with the A-bomb otherwise. So I think that's okay. In fact, this is okay.
Yeah, this probably won't be enough to actually put them onto heart attack. Maybe that horror is actually enough.
Yeah, but there's
now for 8 right now though. 194 to 8, that will be enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's over. That's over. Also, the Houndmaster of Jamin would have always finished the job anyway, because he's full HP and ready to go. So yeah, this is Settra just done in this game. So we're gonna have 1-1 in this series, guys. So 135 Jamin brings it back, takes it over from the dying hands of Settra, and we are going to see at least 4 games in the grand finals today. Very exciting. And that's a Devil as well, cherry on the top, as one might say. This brings us to the 3rd game of the day. So the guys are going head to head. I really like to see that. That's actually excellent stuff. Like, seeing 2-0 is kind of a decided match usually. Where you see 1-1 now, it's like a very open book right now. We just have no idea what's gonna happen. So Settra is going to take a loss here, and it is going to be Jamin, whose composition, the old gold, is also eliminated. So we see the Iron Fist, so the PD comp, or the Hardcore Mark comp available for Jamin. Whereas for Settra, there is a Stress comp that just lost the game, which was very solid by the way, it did kind of okay. But it has to go against the Iron Fist to win. And finally, the Downfall composition, which is the Halo comp. Again, I feel like it's kind of, none of those comps is actually favored against the Mark comp, so Settra might just have to bite the bullet and take the loss here.
Mike, it's meme versus dream right now. We've seen J-Man come in with remarkable teams, Play Doctor, Musketeer, I believe both of which actually have to take a victory to actually take him home in this tournament. Settra here, pretty strong comps, some of them meta, this Halo comp, some of them not so meta, some of them home built. But quite frankly, you'd have to say that whatever Settra fields against the Musketeer team, whatever Settra fields against the Play Doctor team, on the face of it, to us kind of peasants, maybe he's valued. Maybe he's got that kind of little bit of edge there.
Yeah. Man, I'm so scared for Settra, because if he goes against the Mark comp, I feel like he just kind of loses both sides of the matchup here. Like, he cannot win with the Downfall comp, it's just too slow for the Mark. And the burn them out is also kind of squishy, so you can just very quickly lose the Houndmaster to those, you know, long-range carries that Jamin has here in the form of the Arbalest and the Musketeer. And also, the Houndmaster can actually reach all ranks with his abilities. So it feels like Settra is at a very serious disadvantage coming into this game if Jamin does indeed decide to pick this offensive Mark composition. So, and there is very little you can do in terms
with the Musketeer and what you're talking about, right? I mean, that is a particularly potent kind of team in a tournament format. Maybe not so much on a ladder format where you might be facing enormous amounts of movement over and over again, and you've got no idea about who will be playing. But right now, he has a reasonably strong idea of what his opponent is playing. So quite frankly, taking this Musketeer Arbalest team, you know, if he doesn't get moved, he can batter down his opponents with constant crits from 100 to 0 health. Otherwise, if one of them gets moved, the other one is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So it feels very scary though. Like those will be very volatile games. I feel like Settra does have to take a loss here in order to be able to kind of take game 5 in the end. That's what he's kind of being forced into right now. I don't think he does stand a chance against this composition of the Mark comp anyway. If, however, you know, we see this PD Leper coming into play right now, that's a completely different story where, like, it's kind of a very, very big question mark for me. I have no idea how this one plays. I mean, it's probably going to be this kind of a funnel composition where you just kind of invest everything into the Leper's success by just buffing him with the Vapors, right? That's probably what's going to happen.
It's an interesting flex out. While you say that, maybe he believes Settra has that kind of same opinion, but instead it might be some kind of DOT overtime heavy Leper comp Maybe you leverage 9 deity, a couple of the plague bombs into a chop, into a death blow, Mike.
Yeah, possibly, sure. So there are quite a few options indeed. Like you could also play the accuracy debuff card, right? That's a possibility. It's always on the cards. Or, you know, just kind of, like, I think the backline pressure of the Plague Grenade is also pretty much okay. But you cannot play that comp into something very, like, strong like the BH. The BH will obliterate the PD. So, that's kind of a big issue right now. You don't really want to kind of find yourself in the bad matchup there, or you just kind of end up losing naturally. So, it's going to be a very, very tough situation for both players actually making those choices right now.
Maybe. We've seen Jeffman paint himself into a corner, not trying to get the winner early with a Plague Doctor team. If that Plague Doctor team is the last team you have available, it's reasonably easy to counter her, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Get the random win out of her, don't you?
Yeah, so it's like I feel like the biggest issue, like, it's impossible to itemize against the Mark comps because it's just never gonna work for you, right? You will take a bunch of damage anyway. You'll probably die, so you just have to outpace them, which is impossible if you don't have enough damage yourself. And that's, you know, not on the cards anymore for Settra. I think we're going into the game right now, so I'm just going to, or maybe, yeah, we are going to the game indeed, guys. So game number 3 between these two players. One of them will take the opportunity to basically get to the match point here. The other one will unfortunately end up with 1-2. What the
We are seeing this musketeer.
No! This is a melee Vestal. No freaking way. I think Settra knows what's going. I think Settra just knew this. He knew he had to make something really crazy happen in order for this to work, so he just goes really all out for this. You can see 62 dodge on the Houndmaster.
The Houndmaster have a... He's going to try and take that. He can do that. I don't think Settra accommodated for the fact that J-Man he's got 2 chances to crit on the...
yeah.
To increase his prot, though.
Yeah, this does debuff the prot, so it's very big. Melee Vestal, though, guys, this is what a day to be alive.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's not big enough, though. Like, it's quite big, but it's not big enough. And maybe.
I think it is, pal. I think it is. I'm not going to lie to you. All you needed was 1 crit, followed by the Arbalest crit. Then you Caltrops a hook in, and you've got it, don't you?
I mean, you can push out the BH, so this kind of disables the second turn of the fight now. So this means, like, you know, you actually have to use the Arbalest here to Bola potentially. Okay, or you don't. This means that the Vestal heals now, and
so essentially the Musketeer is the redundant force next to the Arbalest. What it acts as is basically a double crit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this MA is alive, that's what counts really. So he can be healed again by the Vestal here, of course. And on the other, like, Settra is playing a stress comp, right? So it's kind of painful to see this, because stress comps like this is kind of a non-tanky comp. It will just get obliterated by Mog. They have to feel like this is just going to be super, super nasty. Obviously, this is a very solid move, by the way, by Settra. Look at this. He turns the fight on its head. He gets both the markswomen on the front row. So this actually means that neither of them is going to be able to actually target this MAA. The only big threat for the MAA right now is this Houndmaster's activation, dropping the Hound's Harry.
We see a double dodge there, but the especially difficult thing about what you just said there is the Arbalest is able to bowl herself backwards. But I do not believe Buckshot moves you backwards.
It does, but it's just still not enough. Yeah, it does, but it's like, look at this.
Even that being said, you are trapped in that kind of double matchup there. You need to get the entirely correct turn order to move back without interacting with each other, which means necessarily you won't be able to heal with either of them here.
Yeah, so Settra actually makes a very good choice here. Like, if he gets the Vestal to the front, means she's no longer a target, really, realistically speaking. She's not a target. You have to make a call, though. You have to go for it now. So the Vestal is kind of safe here, right? Just because, like, the first turn, she's not targeted down, she can just start healing now. And honestly, like, unless there's, like, some very lucky movement here of this Arbalest, this Vestal is just gonna be able to keep healing constantly anyway.
Look at those double guards actually hitting the back row there.
Yeah.
That is beyond belief. Actually not pushing either of those out of their position.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how important or impactful that would have been, quite frankly. We've seen this Divine Comfort coming down, pushing Settra's Man-at-Arms out of death below. That bleed, though, eventually going to act up. push back down there. This is where guard is not actually that great for you.
I mean, it's okay because it does give you protection, right? So this may be just the case of the BH not having enough damage to deliver the killing blow. Because if this MA just goes down prematurely right now, this has to be a lot of trouble. This is a 50-50, it's a killing blow as well. And this sets Settra back significantly in this fight. This is way too early.
Over and over again, but I was pressing the wrong push to talk button there. That man-at-arms was dead the entire time there. It's very important for Settra to see here. But quite frankly, J-Man, this is what I absolutely adore seeing. He's been put in an unfortunate position. What he does is he leverages that position to any advantage he can. If he can try and leverage a single death blow chance, he'll do that. Even if it's 25%, if it's 5%, he'll try and do that. If he gets that kill, he's absolutely fantastic. These are the kind of tempo pushes that J-Man needs to take, considering how his team is positioned right now. Bowlering back, pushing his highwayman forward, not doing much to affect Settra's team order here, though. I mean, Mike, Settra needs to pull something out of the bag here, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I feel like he played this game as well as he could have, right? That's the problem with this. And he still is looking to be in the losing position here. Obviously, the stun just kind of comes down now. It's kind of late as well for that. I feel like the guard actually might have killed the MAA, unfortunately, for Settra, because those kind of bits of damage from Bola and backshot were kind of funneled on the back line of Settra, just ultimately causing the death of this MAA. So it's kind of unfortunate really to see this, but frankly, Settra is not in a terrible spot, right? He's just in a bad one. Because he has been able to do a lot of damage overall.
Changeable terms, Mike, quite frankly. We've seen this Musketeer stunned in first. This Bounty Hunter in the fourth, only really able to come hither, but that come hither might be enough. Putting him into second, able now to leverage the extra damage off Mike with the Arbalest. That might just be enough. You crit with the Arbalest, you get a Hound there. Kill the Settra Houndmaster here. Might be it for you.
Also, this Vesta can potentially get hooked and killed. And this would mean that the Abomination of Settra lands in fourth, right? But again, there's a guard coming down, so that's not going to happen.
Really interesting. Trying to... We see a stun there on the Abomination.
Oh, very fortunate it's dodged.
1 in 4 there, but...
Yeah.
Still, maybe would have wanted to see Hound's Harry there instead, trying to apply more AoE pressure.
Yeah, so he probably wants to kick the Houndmaster again. No, he goes for a transform. Actually, I have really wanted to say okay, that's fine. So he does block the possibility of the stun removal here. So he's probably gonna go for a double stun with the Vesta, kind of follow it up right now. And this means, only a single stun of those could be removed because the other one is just kind of gonna be wasted right now. So a single move taken away. It's still not looking too great. Like, losing the MAA so early on into this fight is just absolutely brutal.
Man-at-Arms in a stress versus kind of pure damage fight, dude. Because Man-at-Arms suffered the clutch character 1v4. Coming into, I'm not sure what turn now, quite late though, maybe turn 5, turn 6 or something like that. And we really are not seeing much stress applied to this Musketeer Arbalest DOT team, Mark team rather.
Yeah, it's like that's why I actually argue about Bello not being overpowered, because if you nerf Bello, if you nerf Bello from what it is, you'll just see Markham's dominate so hard, because right now it just kind of keeps, at least it gives a possibility to the non-Mark player, the stressed player, to win against them. So if you just kind of nerf the Bello even further, if you take the Bello to 15% damage, for instance, debuff, that just means, those comps that big abuse Mark.
I can tell you how much I hate this guard dog. He's trying to stack up guard dog to an inordinate amount, and I really think you've only lost one character. None of your opponents are afflicted. You need to start playing into your favor right now, and you're not playing into your favor right now.
No, you need to take over the game, completely take over the game. Because, Settra gets to maybe transform now, but I feel like this is a dead Houndmaster if he does do something extreme here.
It'll be at least 7 before all 4 characters are afflicted. And that's far too late. It's far too late. You've got 2 characters in the front who are almost dead. Settra right now, he's playing really heavy stun control. That needs to be said, but still. Bounty Hunter and Arbalest in the back. Bounty Hunter in third can finish him. Hitting for 18 there, pushing down to 0. I mean, Arbalest has got a 30% base against marked extra death blow chance. And with trinkets, I believe the trinket probably does have an extra 15% chance. And that's pretty close to a finisher on anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the scary bit for J-Man here. That's sorry for Settra. He has very little he can do against those high damage output characters, and yeah, I feel as I said, it feels like almost an auto loss here. In fact, so yeah, I just don't really like the spot he's in. But I feel like there's just this is the only way in which this game could have played out, right? So even though Settra makes this kind of ingenious decision to actually switch characters around a lot and just kind of get this kind of extraordinary setup here, he still ends up losing the fight anyway. Very unfortunate.
I know exactly what you're saying, but I do have to disagree with you for one point. The entire point of Darkest Dungeon, Butcher Circus, is you have to be dynamic at every single point. At turn 6 now, you have, I say, 3 opportunities to have a pivotal decision in how you take the game forward. We're starting to see now some of J-Man's targets be at low health, but quite frankly, you're against an Arbalest and a Musketeer. Pushing them back is only going to do so much. All it takes is one crit shot from either of them to essentially lose you the game. What you need to do is make sure all of them are busy healing and not dying. All you need to do is make sure you don't get 100% death blow chanced, yeah? You can take a 25% chance here or there on different characters if that gives you a tempo advantage. But what you can't do is this. You can't kind of rely so heavily on guard dogging one character, buffing up your Handmaster's dodge, while not actually applying any stress. I mean, Settra right now, we love him, but a bit too dogmatic to one playstyle, I believe, brother.
Yeah, it's not looking too good, yeah. I mean, it's like... I mean, he's trying to kind of use the dodge to his advantage, right? So he might just kind of pull through because of that as well. Like, if he gets lucky, like, he needs to get like some obscene levels of luck right now, but those dodges might indeed just mean that this Hellmaster never dies. So that's what he's, I think, banking on. Obviously, he might just kind of end up with the Hellmaster dying to some random trash happening, but maybe, just maybe, he dodges the killing blow from the BH and perhaps pulls through this fight. Obviously, a big question mark anyway for that. Because... But you can just attack this Vestal and you can just, you know, make use of the fact that the damage is transferred onto the Hellmaster. Actually, J-Man doesn't do this though, he goes for healing here. Just trying to be safe, I guess, is the correct call, as like he just doesn't want to lose anybody too soon. Because a Handmaster and a Vestal is something to be reckoned with.
Right now, to actually kind of take control of this game is maybe stunning the Houndmaster, getting good Hounds Harry out, getting 2 killing blows in one, 2 25%. But he's not acted towards that, you know. We've seen these players that are very strong on paper. They played very well in these games previous to this. But when they come into this kind of incredible crunch time against people, and specifically characters they've never played against like this. I mean, I wouldn't really know how to play against Musketeer Arbalest. They kind of fail at this last hurdle here. Pushing himself up to 82 dodge, but it's still a coin flip. It's still a coin flip. You've spent 4 turns aiming towards a coin flip boat.
And the dodge bonus is gone as well, because he is 62 only now, so there's not even that much, right? Considering the fact that, yeah, he is really banking on this Houndmaster staying alive for his victory, right? This is his only win condition now. Like, this Houndmaster just has to survive and demolish everybody else.
And it's not like the team he's facing against has a low base accuracy.
No, not at all. That's a stun as well. That's the end of it, I think.
Yeah, 60% stun goes through there. I would say that Settra right now, the imperishable god, is about to taste his first lick of defeat in this tournament, Mike.
I mean, we are 1-2 now if he loses this, which is very likely to happen. But you have to remember, J-Man is left to take he has to take a win with that crazy PD composition of his. So I wouldn't be surprised if Settra just takes 2 games in a row later. Like, I'm not obviously kind of betting my money on this. But also, I had to remind you, sis, I said Settra would take it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, I do agree, yeah.
And he is here, so...
1 beer to 1 beer, by the way.
Yeah.
So we have to send each other a beer, pal.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Oh, man, so... Yeah, this Houndmaster passes. It's over for Settra. There's nothing you can do. Like, a single Vestal against 4 characters, no matter how they're stressed, she just always loses this. She's just kind of waiting for the execution there.
When a Musketeer team beats you, you just have to be worried. You've got a Plague Doctor team. There is 1 Plague Doctor team left. You've been beaten by a Musketeer. it seems you might just be beat by a play doctor in the very same vein. There seems to be a remarkable game where, I mean, in the first game, I think we both thought Settra had it entirely, just based on J-Man's team compositions. But J-Man, I think he's picked apart this tournament format in the exact correct way. This is exactly the kind of evolution I wanted to see here, taking off-meta picks here, knowing that a Musketeer Arbalest comp will just demolish anything in a tournament setting. This isn't the ladder, Mike.
No. Like, he's a very good mark player, by the way. We have not seen him lose with this comp, I think. So, very decent performance by J-Man here, actually. He takes game number 3, and this brings him to match point again. He has a single win, dividing him from taking the championship today, guys.
It's all on Settra, Mike. It is all on Settra. Facing up against this Plague Doctor team here now. I mean, if you were to say to me, Mike, and if I were to say to you, listen, you're going to be the Plague Doctor team twice in a row, I'm pretty sure we'd both go easy pie. Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a Highwayman on there. So Vendetta, you are playing with a comp. You have to win with a stress comp against this, right? If you're Settra. So there's a Vendetta. There is a lot of buff damage from the Vapors as well. There's a Crusader and the MA to kind of act as a buffer of sorts for you as well. And honestly, Settra comp is kind of weak to this. Like the burn him out, the one that we just saw. There's a lot of AoE there. Like, he just doesn't.
Mike, we say that, but we've seen Sticky Blood in particular in this tournament, and I know that Settra has been watching every tournament game that he's not been playing in. Quite frankly, these kind of teams are where the player who goes, okay, I'm not going to play how it's prescribed by normal ladder. I'm not going to just follow through this basic strategy. I'm going to think about what I'm playing against. If he actually decides to kind of do defensive plays, maybe single target plays, it would seem stupid to me or you on the face of it. If he actually pushes those through, he might be able to get an advantage in the late game. But that being said, going against a Plague Doctor team here, that Plague Doctor is just... I mean, Mike, the tournament setting is where Plague Doctor shines, does it not? If you know your Plague Doctor will not be moved, your Plague Doctor is probably the strongest character in the game.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like this is a funnel PD though. This is not a PD that is supposed to do damage. She's just... I don't think she cares where she is, because she just wants to be buffing this Highwayman here.
We say that, Mike, but you've got to imagine that Jeffman has always been dynamic in his picks. Maybe Settra is believing that. I know you've said that before. Maybe Settra heard that on stream and went, okay, I'm going to try and pick against that then. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's got a few play bombs to throw down here, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Chesness, thank you so much for the follow, my man. So you're getting a lot of follows today, actually, guys. You got like 6 or 7 people on Twitch. It's kind of actually more than theirs.
I think it's perfect time to remind guys to follow the Discord as well, then, to join the Discord.
True. I'm gonna spam out all the links then. Guys, prepare. Air Banana, thank you for the follow as well, guys. Remember, join the Discord. We have a huge community. If you want to take part in the future tournaments, guys, this is the way to go. This is the place to go. You can just join the Discord using this link, and you just kind of become the member of the community automatically. Very big deal, because you can just kind of sign up for the future tournaments, which is a lot of fun, guys. And finally, you also can become members of the channel and donate if you want to kind of support the work we're doing here. Like, remember, we're just kind of throwing the tournament here for everybody, for the community.
Lurkers, I mean, we've seen a lot of lurkers unable, kind of unwilling to join, just because they're a little bit scared. But really, if you want to join the Discord, you can join up for these tournaments whenever you feel willing to. 200 people here talking, constantly putting out new builds. We must have 300 builds here, probably 50 pages if you were to print them out on A4. A fantastic build with in-depth 4-paragraph guides for each one, guys. Seriously, this is the deepest, most in-depth Butcher Circus lore base there is. So please join, even if it is just to read, okay?
We are in the game, though. We are in the game, and 135 J-Man with this crazy-ass PD composition goes fast, guys. He's a single win away from taking the championship today, and this is just ridiculous. Like, if he is able to do it, if he makes it through, that's gonna be absolutely crazy.
No, Mike, you know what, Mike? that was far too quick. You slow down, you guard the PD, you make sure she can't be pulled in, because right now, if Settra pulls that PD in, you have lost the game, basically. If you are going to go for this kind of long, strategic blight scenario, which you should do against a flashing like this.
Yeah, maybe. I think he has like a different game plan. He's just going to stick to it because he knows it works. Like he's just gonna. I feel like this is what this comp does. It just funnels all the power onto this highwayman, and this just takes over. Like because this means like you can potentially do a lot of damage with it.
The only effect the Jester here, the Bounty Hunter and the Arbalest both have very high base accuracy.
Yeah.
This will be quite punishing to see. Maybe we can see this Bounty Hunter marked for death. That's so interesting, Mike. Rather than pulling the play dot, he marks for death the man-at-arms.
I mean, we also saw Bolster, didn't we?
That's what he does, yeah. We saw a Bolster there purely for the dodge, but now you're absolutely right. He does emboldening vapors on the highwayman.
Yeah, that's always a given. I'm kind of surprised by no repose here. This kind of is a nice opening for Settra. He kind of didn't realize it maybe, but he could have just focused the highwayman before anything happened. Because can you imagine losing your core character? By the way, oh, that's very big, because this means that you have to use that heal now. You have to just go for the healing straight away, or you just lose the fight.
You can see of this kind of quasi-halo, we'll call it.
Yeah.
The Flagellant here has that late game pressure the Crusader doesn't have right now. Obviously forcing J-Man's Crusader into healing rather than stoning the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Hunter here has got basically free reign to do whatever he wants. He can pull in the Plague Doctor if he wants to now.
Yeah, absolutely, he can do this. So it's actually very scary right now for J-Man, because he is at death's door continuously now. The Jester probably comes forward. Like, obviously there's a Bellwalk of Light, so this might just not do enough damage. You have to hope, if you're J-Man, that this Dexter doesn't do enough. But we do see Reign of Sorrow, so since Settra went second, he actually gets to wait here. He can play the waiting game.
So much damage onto the man-at-arms.
At some point this MAA is just going to be at death's door, and you just take over the game then.
Mike,
so,
I'm going to say 2 words: battlefield medicine, yes or no?
He did use it already. He was forced to do it at the very start. So right now he's just dead, right? He's just dead here at the front. The problem is, however, like he is taking a lot of...
I mean the Plague Doctor clearing the bleeding blight on the man-at-arms here.
Yeah, but she already had to do this, right? So this is just a dead MAA. Now this is the last turn. This is the last turn we see this MAA in this fight here. Also doesn't do enough damage to Jester to take him to 0, which is very important. So there is no real threat for this Jester of Settra. Very important.
Pushing that Jester down to death's door.
Yeah.
And there he goes. He's straight down. I mean, quite frankly, J-Man here not leveraging the DOTs he could have applied to the backline there. We could be looking right now at a Bounty Hunter and an Arbalest at 0 health.
Yeah.
And he's pushing right into that.
Yeah, that's too much. I think like he should have kind of pivoted from here at some point, because this just doesn't seem to be bringing the results. And on top of everything, I feel like you can just safely even leave this highwayman as the last man standing, just kill him last. Yeah, that's probably fine for you.
Pulling that Play Doctor in, obviously marking her the most obvious target. Push that.
You can X-Sang now, that's fine. You can X-Sang the highwayman, just, you know, even take the punishment. But most importantly...
I mean, I would say you X-Sang the Play Doctor, quite frankly. Because pushing that Play Doctor into first, it's... I saw what he was going for there. He was trying to push her out of the range of sniper shot, obviously being marked there, but quite frankly... She's a goner anyway, right?
Yeah, but... I think you want to X-Sang the highwayman, because this gives you like long-term advantage. When are you going to do damage to them, and if not now? Because this is safe. You X-Sang to full HP, you do a lot of DOT. Look at this is so much bleed and blight now that at some point this highwayman is just gonna be taken to 0 HP. And I don't think you can use. I'm not a PD expert. Can you use battlefield medicine from first? I don't think you can.
You can't use it from second either. I believe it's only third and fourth. So right now, I mean, J-Man is in such an awful position. Not utilizing the Play Doctor, perhaps in the way you should against a team with heavy movement here.
Yep.
I'm not even sure if he's taken a decision. The only ability you can use is the Play Doctor in rank 1. That battlefield bandage there, not medicine, obviously. Medicine being the Play Doctor ability. Pushing the Jester out of death's door range. That Jester here, I mean, it's all over for J-Man.
Yeah.
She's got a finale left.
Yeah, so you probably pressure the PD into just dying from direct damage, and then you just kind of leave the finale to finish up the Highwayman when he drops low enough from those DOTs that, you basically applied with the X-Sang alone. So this just plays very well for Settra now, and despite all those buffs, I feel like this Highwayman just doesn't have enough juice. I feel like the Jester can just finale this right away almost.
I think what we've seen here is J-Man 2-Dog. That is a pretty heavy hit though, 11-8 and 7.
Like, that's not enough though.
It's not, is it? If we would have seen a couple of play bombs come out, that's a lot of DOT over 2 of the people on the backline. Right now, we would be facing 3 people at Death's Door here. And also, they'd be blighted, so not able to be healed from this Arbalest. So quite frankly, J-Man here,
ow.
being too dogmatic, stuck to his game plan. That Jester stunned though.
We might see the Jester go down then, because this Highwayman is actually in prime position to just finish the guy off now. When the time comes, because this PD will probably... Oh, he doesn't have the stab, right? He doesn't have the stab, so there is no melee attack available.
No indecision here.
But this, I feel the Highwayman just going to finish the job here for J-Man, and then it will be no finale available, and quite an even fight overall. So he has to move this back. Obviously, very solid situation for Settra because of that. So Settra does have 2 moves now, so he probably will just capitalize on this mark now, or maybe just he can actually take down the Highwayman from the get-go. That's pretty okay for him as well. You can just kind of tackle the character now, just do some damage, and try to finish it off later with a finish him ability, right? That's very important. The Heartseeker does bring you a lot of damage, so we can basically just use finish him as a normal damaging ability, much to the likes of a sniper shot.
Exactly.
He goes for...
only hitting for 6 there, but
that's crazy.
Bleed and blights knock that plague rotor down, I believe, Mike. Quite frankly, any ability Settra would have used here would have been reasonably effective. That Renaissance dodging. The Highwayman is a character with quite a lot of these buffs tunneled into him, but it's just not enough.
There's no finisher. It's like 25% chance it doesn't come through. And now we just see the Jester activation. You have to believe, and this is just a dead Highwayman, and the game just kind of solves itself. I mean, this one is absolutely solved of a puzzle for Settra. Settra probably will equalize the score to
play doctor. I'd almost want to put myself up into a show match, a best of 1 with play doctor on my team, because quite frankly, this play doctor, you see that surrender?
Yeah.
He knows he didn't do my wife justice.
No.
Yeah.
Guys, we are going to the final game of the series. Whoever takes it now is going to take the win of the tournament. That's such a long evening, guys. We have been streaming for 6 hours now. Can you believe it? And this is the final... Yeah, you can, because you've been talking for 6 hours. I know the feeling. I'm a teacher. So, Downfall composition eliminated again. So we are down to the Iron Fist. So PD, MAA, Highwayman, Crusader against Burn Them Out. So the Vestal, Abomination, Houndmaster, and MAA. So those are very important things that you have to kind of realize as a player. Now you are down to a comp that kind of lost a game today. So you have to make the most out of the bad situation.
With that in mind, we need to understand that both of these people have lost the game with these teams. They should learn from that loss, especially this Plague Doctor team coming out here from J-Man. We have seen how punished it is to fund all of your efforts for 2 turns into 1 character. Half of your team died. What we need to see is massive pivots that we should have seen in the game prior. Settra here is in pole position, prime position, whatever you want to call it, to take this game home. J-Man here, prima facie, he is going to lose this, right? Queuing right up there. We're going to see a game around, an entire tournament, in fact, deciding game coming up very, very soon.
Well, that's been such a long day for me, because I had like a conference in the morning. Now we go into 6-hour cast, but I'm still so excited, so energetic, I think, for the very final game of the day, because this is it, guys. There is no more Butcher Circus today. That's all she wrote. One of those guys takes a big W today and takes the tournament win. Is going to be maybe not on the level of Cherry then, because Cherry took a bigger tournament win, but still kind of gets this really solid status in the community. A person who was able to go through all those brackets.
This is only 1 of 4 per season, remember? We do 4 per season, then we're into a grand tournament. So this is really just basically a regional. Or maybe some would say going into the grand finals. So whoever gets this win is basically given a free buy into the finals.
Yes.
I mean, really, it's like it's almost a golden ticket you're giving them.
Yeah. Because the way we're gonna do it is like, so the people who are first seed, they get out of the group stage without any trouble, and then the group stage is just kind of gonna involve the people who are second. So this is a very big deal for those guys if they want to kind of compete for the big prize. And this means we're going into this match very, very soon. I feel like the players are getting ready indeed. I'm so thrilled for this one. I'm really kind of not sure which one of those comps takes it, specifically because, you know, you have a lot of anti-AoE on the side of the of J-Man here, with this Highwayman getting funneled ad infinitum almost, and just, you know, taking a lot of bonuses. I don't know about PD, actually. I'm not sure the role of the PD is on this composition, other than just kind of buffing. Obviously, you can do a lot of DOT as well.
A meme comp. So J-Man Runners came into this, you're going to make a meme comp about buffing up a highway bomb with heavy riposte now counter some kind of AoE damage team, but unfortunately he's not being able to pivot effectively, just, you know what I mean, to look at and see, okay, this won't work for me. What I should do is just throw down Plague Bomb, Plague Bomb, Plague Bomb, Plague Bomb, to throw down Blight. I believe Plague Bomb is 5x3 over both backline, and we've often said Plague Doctor has a reasonably low base accuracy. It's 95. That's high. 95 is high. With the 15% trinket that also increases Blight skill percent chance, she is a beyond formidable foe, especially if we want to see this man-at-arms pre-guarding here, which he didn't do last time, which was kind of not punished by Settra, instead choosing to take that man-at-arms down. I mean, this is kind of, I think you like to say, a comedy of errors. I often like to say a circus of folly. You know what I mean? A lot of clowns in the area tonight.
We got this, man. This is it, guys. This is a 2-2. That's the final game of the day. I'm so exhausted, but really thrilled to see this one. Says, let's go get into this. And we have 135 J-Man going first.
Quite frankly, we need to see here J-Man, if he has... Okay. Mike, I'm going to enter tournament mode here.
Go.
I wouldn't have done that. I would not have done that, to be honest. I would have done something offensive there. Maybe either stun on the Abomination or drop down the accuracy debuff or a Plague Bomb on the back two there. I think that was potentially a misplay.
I feel like he just wants to kind of survive the onslaught of stress, right? Which might work. He also does resist that, so that's very big for the Highwayman, where he's just going to be able to actually just drop the repose from the get-go, I believe, and then continue from there, right? It's kind of important to get this thing done. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't repose sooner, though.
Mike, this emboldening vapors, that riposte only actually affects the Houndmaster, right? You are basically devoting 2 members of your team into countering 1 member on the opponent's team. And whenever you do that, you are going to lose.
Yeah, but what a member it is, though. You have to believe the fact that, you know, I'm actually surprised. I would just rage the Highwayman here, because this just gives you such a big advantage if you can land that crit, or even like land a 16-17 damage blow from the get-go.
Mouse movements back and forth. Vendetta again.
He
could have taken longer to think about this. This is something he thought about too quickly.
Yeah.
He maybe didn't want to do that.
The problem is now he can't activate repose for 2 turns. He really wants to do this, I believe. I mean, he can obviously just go for the point blank here, just maybe eliminate the Abomination altogether very, very early into this, but you can still stun this one. Like, you can just go for the Vestal stun. Very likely you are just going to land this. And this means that, you know, this Highwayman is gonna take over.
Far too much. Just
so be taken over.
One Highwayman, he's not even able to do anything yet. He can't activate his riposte yet. I mean, J-Man has just lost the game doing this exact same thing. Right now, we want to see J-Man pivoting, trying to play more aggressively, surely.
Yeah, so he's going to go for this point blank, potentially just maybe demolishing the Abomination of Settra completely. But, like, he is also going to endure a lot of debuffs from this MAA of Settra. Right? He's playing against a stress cup. I feel like he's just going to be too slow on the day. We can see the strategy I was talking about, right? This does a lot of damage. Also kind of threatens you. Like, you can no longer be just consistently...
Don't do that again. He's doing it I mean, you're taking these. You just said we're taking these bellows, these damage debuffs. You need to start applying DOTs right now. We could have turn 2. We could have 10/3 blights on these back 2 characters right now. That's 30. That's enough to push them down because this is evidently going to maybe turn 4, turn 5. If at that point you can leverage something like that to tell you when you can do it. But this isn't it, Mike, is it?
Yeah, look at this 41 crit PBS. That's what he was kind of shooting for. Because the problem is, can he
41 crit?
Yeah, can he capitalize on this well enough? That's the question now. Can you take this abomination down soon enough for it not to be able to transform? Because Settra does go second next turn, so you can probably just kind of... You have no Wicked Slice, you have no finisher, however, on this team. It's going to be a big deal.
This turn, J-Man's Crusader is stunned. Settra has 2 guards available to him. He could, if he wanted to, drop both on. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
That's time running out, though. You have to kind of make up your mind very quickly now. So the problem here is that even if you kill this abomination, you still are enduring a lot of stress overall, right? So, I don't know, I feel like this is an okay situation for
Not yet, to be
Settra.
honest. That high stress kind of racked up. If Settra doesn't get the second transform off from the abomination, you can really leverage your DOTs from the Plague Doctor, which we've not seen him do. We'll get the kill,
That's not a kill, actually, because there is no finisher. There is no way he gets this kill reliably. Obviously, the snap here taking the place of the finisher, maybe not the best thing in the world, really. Because obviously, you're kind of funneled into a lot of damage overall. But this still means that...
More importantly, Mike, that was his only chance of actually attacking that character this turn. Now he's being healed up.
I can't believe he has no finishers, though.
He doesn't have any finishers because he believes he's going to do enough damage and DOT damage to not even need the finisher. But he's not even his play bombs once. Just throw them down already. Surely, now that you've used your emboldening vapors 2 per battle, throwing down a guard there. I mean,
it's just gonna be instantaneously guard broken, I think, by the A-bomb if he wants to kind of pressure this. Or he maybe just doesn't want to do this because you're free to just kind of bellow and then transform the A-bomb, finally get the transform out, just get the bailout as well on the A-bomb. That's kind of important thing to do, I believe, as well. The Plague Grenade finally comes down. I love the saying too little too late. This looks like too little too late altogether.
It's just remarkable that we've seen J-Man stick so dogmatically to this kind of buff twice per turn, per game rather, function with this Play Doctor. When I've said before, just apply pressure, not apply any pressure. If you don't start applying pressure until turn 3 or turn 4, you are never going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovesick55, thank you for the follow. And yeah, that's true, he has no pressure, and I look at this, Settra perfectly healthy across the board. Those characters of his, they're just gonna do a lot of damage again. There's no repose really, because the single MAA with minus 60% debuff doesn't really do much, and it just feels like...
Again, Mike, with that being said, with his debuffs, we would have liked to have seen this Crusader. If you are playing this defensively and weirdly, at least cleanse the debuff on the man-arms you've riposted, something like that, no?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is so little down. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he just didn't notice the guard. I don't know. He could have just actually gone for this Hamlet, at least force the Vestal to heal instead of stunning you. Because I feel like if you are Settra now, you probably stun the Highwayman, right, with the Vestal, then just kind of funnel all the damage on the guy, just kind of to force some response. Actually, Settra doesn't do this. He goes for a stun on the Crusader, kind of preventing this heavy damage coming down on the Hound. Hound also did resist the Blight before, which is very big because this means there is very little pressure right now on the man.
Exactly what he does really. Throwing down a Plague Grenade, thank God, so late to be honest. But if he actually,
that's the second one.
He's not lost this yet, Mike. He's not lost this yet. If he actually plays it very, very, very defensively, keeps throwing down those Plague Grenades, he can take the 2 backline out. The issue is, in the Vietnam War, people used to maim their opponents and not kill them, because it was more difficult for their opponents to heal their team rather than actually kill their opponent right now, yeah? This Vestal, if she's forced to heal, that means she can't stun. So, quite frankly, just push, play so aggressively right now that your opponent eventually, maybe even next turn in 2 turns, has no option other than to heal. Because you're not out of this game yet. It's still 4 versus 4. This stress game although it's not in your favor, boom, bang.
Whoa, what the hell? This is like double repose. He went for that. Like, he might have just lost the tournament with this play.
Bang.
Whoa. Oh my god, this is like such a big mistake. He kind of underestimated the potential damage here. He's dead.
I'm just talking about Vietnamese traps. Imagine attacking a double riposte trap. This is some random J walk. Oh, it's out! Bang, bang! Straight out.
Oh my god.
2 times in a death blow, 75% there. He's out of the ball. He's out of the ballpark, etc. Not quite lost here. That 22 point blank shot will maybe do it for him though.
Yeah,
Probably
it's so scary now.
Won't he?
I mean, you hate to see, like, you lose the Houndmaster. It's like the backbone of this composition. You may say MAA is the backbone, right? But the core stress comes from this Houndmaster. It's just gone now.
Pressure.
And
no one right now is able actually to push death's door.
Yeah, I felt like Settra was winning this easily, but right now I feel like this is over for him all of a sudden. Like, losing this Houndmaster like this, man, PD guy will win the tournament, I think.
This is beyond punishing Mikefield.
That's ridiculous.
Accidentally messing up one turn somewhere, and it kind of... This is the butterfly... Mike, the butterfly effect is nothing but proved in Darkest Dungeon, no? One crit can give you enough stress to make all of your opponent's team afflicted, even just one. And right now, we are seeing this kind of act out. This played a dodge there. Maybe this dodge will kind of even out into a very late game win from this man at arms here. He can still bellow.
Yeah,
he might
can.
be the one before. This play dodge is not able actually to blight him, unless this play dodge starts to play a little bit more offensively, which is just not.
But can you believe it? Everybody has been playing this nice, pleasant meta. The A-bomb goes down, by the way. Everyone else but Jamin, they were bringing those meta comps to the table, you know, the Halo, the Flagellant Mark, the Zedus comp, the Distress comp, the Stun comp that you can see here. That's all they were doing.
You're not quite right. I think we've seen a lot of people take the Halo comp. We've seen some people take some kind of variant of stress comps, but quite
but they're kind of meta-oriented, and what Jamin does here, he brings those crazy things to the table, he wins with them.
He's taking characters that are non-meta, rather than comps that are non-meta, and quite frankly, to see a Plague Doctor win this game, I mean, we believe she's going to win this, right?
Yeah, absolutely she is, yeah. No doubt about it. Like, I feel like this is just kind of, I would say this is a solved game already. Like, there is very little actually that Jamin can do to lose this. You have to just kind of go have, go like to the convenience store, 15 minutes away to buy himself a beer to lose this game now. I have no idea how he loses this, seriously. He just has so much going for him. Like, look at this. Like, even the damage 6 doesn't do that much, right? To the MA, but still kind of slowly and steadily, he will wear Settra down. He will kill him. Just because he can do this, he has so much time now to do whatever he wants. The single MAA, usually a clutch character, but not against this much damage, I think.
It's not so much clutch right now as it is a nail and a hammer. And quite frankly, for J-Man, it's not so much about hammer and anvil in a war situation. It's about hammer and anvil in just simply doing some DIY right now. He's already solved this. He's got the kind of framework laid out before him. And those dodges especially, really just the cherry on top of the cake for him right now. He's hammering these nails in. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't activate the Seda first, not even once, despite the fact that he really does need to remove those debuffs. Because he does need to remove the, the Highwayman debuff here. He does need to probably just kind of get the Crusader to the state at which he can damage the Vestal as well later on, like once this MAA is dead. Like, you can see actually an act out here that's annoying, and maybe, like, Vestal, MAA, Geo can do something here still. Like, you have to believe this might be the case, because this is a heavy, the 16 isn't that much damage. If you can just consistently heal this and just drop the bellow every turn, maybe some crazy act out just saves it for you still.
Shines, Mike. We need to see this Plague Doctor actually applying heavy blights to these characters that have reasonably high protection, 30%. I mean, quite frankly, we want to see them being whipped down by this Plague Doctor, trying to play very, very aggressively right now, because this is your game to lose, and that is worst position to be in.
Yeah, especially against stress comps, right? Because they are really good at killing you when it's your game to lose. So this healing, whether here's the healing trinket here on the vessel, so she is healing for quite a lot of HP every single time. And she is kind of outpacing whatever damage Jamin has been able to output. And this is gonna kind of keep happening until he, the rally to the flame is dropped and this Highwayman just recovers his regular damage bonus.
Without a doubt. I mean, coming from J-Man right now, you have a gluttony of options. You've got 3 movement, 3 action. Your opponent's 0 right now. I mean, quite frankly, you have 3 to 0. Maybe you want to play a little bit defensively. I don't get it, obviously, on my own, but perhaps that's weird.
Yeah, that's very strange. I mean, he's trying to bring the vessel to the second, I guess, but honestly, like using that stress, he's trying not to get afflicted, I guess, on this Highwayman, because it might be a bit of a disaster, an afflicted Highwayman just attacks your ally for like 30 damage or something, right? You don't want that to happen.
Is people kind of get this tournament shock where they think so long about plays that they make the wrong play. And I know I've done that once or twice, but like, you need to be able to snap yourself out of that.
Yeah.
You need to go, no, it's very dumb for me to do that. I can't overthink things. And I mean, right now, this is how you lose games. And J-Man, unless he gets the kill right now, he is losing it. 0.
Slowly, yeah, sure. That's not... But he did stress, like he just probably wanted to do this 29 stress. And yeah, that's still okay. I think he gets the Dazzling Light on this Highwayman here. And that's just going to be enough stress, I think, on the Highwayman to maybe, also in the MAA to maybe finish the kill even. I have no idea how much stress it is exactly, but this might be enough. It's 1 stress off. 1 stress off.
Yeah, exactly. Without trinkets.
Oh no.
Being a slight axe out here. Maybe if this is a crit, that won't do anything, I think. Maybe a slight axe out will do it, Mike. But quite frankly, we could be seeing one more bellow come out from Settra's old man.
Yeah, this is like the last breath of the man. Like, you can actually just try to heal this, but 24 blight means you can just never consistently just keep this guy alive. There's gonna be a dead MAA right now. This is the last bellow of this guy in the tournament itself, because no matter how it ends, I think it ends quite poorly for Settra.
No trinkets that does kind of monstrous extra stress. You do get that plus 10% from the Pit Fighter's helmet there. And hitting for 11 across the board, nowhere near enough here. This masochistic Vestal, unable to do anything other than stun and die, I'd say, Mike, right?
Yeah. That's over. This is just over. Unfortunately for Settra, he is, and very fortunately for J-Man, who made it all the way from the initial bracket, just as Settra did. Those guys fought it really valiantly. They took so much time today to actually make it through all those little nooks and crannies of the bracket, and Settra just surrenders. It is 1-3-5 J-Man taking today's tournament by storm using those extraordinary compositions. What a crazy, crazy, crazy turnaround, sis. Would you have anticipated that?
To be honest, Mike, the issue, I say the issue, the perfect thing about these tournaments you host, Mikefield, is that you are allowed to say, listen, you know what? I'm going to make 2 Plague Doctor teams. I'm going to ban out a movement team. I'm going to counter another movement team. And I'm going to say the F word. Holy fuck. I'm going to win with 2 Plague Doctors and a Musketeer, Mike. This is what your tournaments are all about. The ladder on Butcher Circus is only one element of this gameplay. And this is really what we, I hope, in our purest form can try to expose. Because the Halo comp on the ladder, it might win 9 out of 10 games. But in a situation like this, we've seen time and time again, it can be countered with relative ease. To see a Plague Doctor duo comp and a Musketeer...
Just can you mute the music in the background, please? For like literally a little bit, because it's just playing. I'm afraid we might just get kind of suspended for that.
Is it still on?
Yeah, it's off. It's off now.
I was about done, by the way. All I was saying is it was monstrous there to see double Plague Doctor Musketeer team taking home the victory against, some would say, a very heavy meta lineup team, but quite frankly also all the meta teams we saw here with a Halo comp, the rest were all reasonably homebrew.